Hello Culers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal. Barcelona are straight back in action yet again following our first victory of 2021 against Huesca on the Sunday evening. We now take on Athletic Bilbao away from home on Wednesday evening at San Mamés, and I think we all know this will be a really tough game for Barcelona. This is a proper test. The match preview is going to be interesting because I have got quite a lot to talk about here, so without any further ado, let's get in to the match preview. But before we go any further, it is worth noting that this fixture was actually in jeopardy. I don't think it is anymore. It looks set to go ahead now, but there was actually a small COVID outbreak at Barcelona over the past few days. A few of our coaching staff, I'm led to believe, came back with positive COVID tests, so all of the players, they basically didn't train this morning when they were meant to. We had to do a new round of testing, but all of the tests have now come back negative. The players are set to be training again this afternoon / this evening in Barcelona, so hopefully they will be up to scratch, they will be up to form. I do see this as a slight obstacle. We wouldn't be training at our normal time that we'd usually be training before a match like this, which could be a bit annoying. Maybe some players are thinking, look, this game's going to be called off because a positive test is going to come back. That didn't happen. Now we've got to go and train late and then, of course, travel to the Basque Country in the morning. And I already see this as a difficult fixture when we play Athletic Club. It is the sort of game that we always struggle in. And in fact, guys, the fact that we've had to spring up this late training session, the late press conference, that isn't exactly ideal. But at the end of the day, let's see what happens with this one. They are professionals. At the end of the day, at least we have a training session, which I was worried we weren't actually going to have. But we've still got a training session before the game, which is important. But forgetting all of that behind the scenes stuff, Barcelona, if they want to walk away with 3 points from San Mamés, have to put up a fighting performance. It has to be excellent from Barca. That's a fact. And I actually want to start here with Athletic Bilbao, the home team for the fixture. And there is actually so much to talk about regarding our opposition today, in my opinion. And I want to start really with the big news of the day. They have a new coach to Athletic Club, so we've got to remember it's not going to be Garitano. He was sacked after, well, he even won his last game in charge, I believe against Elche, but clearly Athletic Club don't think that they're going in the right direction, and they've actually brought in Marcelino. I'm sure a lot of you guys know him. He's the ex-Valencia coach. He used to manage Villarreal in the past too when they had some really impressive Europa League runs. And in my opinion, it's an improvement for Athletic Club, and I think it immediately puts even more pressure on this game. Like I said earlier, Athletic Club away from home is a fixture that Barcelona, over the last decade for sure, have always struggled in, but I just think with Marcelino as the coach, the new bounce they could get under the new manager, that could pose even more issues for Barca tomorrow evening. And I just touched on it briefly there, and I will mention it again. Going to San Mamés, I just feel, as a whole, is always a difficult fixture for Barcelona. It's a sort of fixture we see at the beginning of the season, we think, yep, that's going to be a hard game. If we get 3 points there, that'll be massive. Because we always seem to go there. Whenever I've been a fan of Barca over the last decade or so, we really seem to struggle at San Mamés. I just feel that Athletic Club, they up their game when they play Barcelona, perhaps even Real Madrid to an extent. They do like playing the big dogs, despite the fact they're not having a good season yet again. That's clearly highlighted by the sacking of Garitano. I still feel they're a difficult side to play against. They will sit deep, they will defend very well, and I think we all know, against Athletic, we're bound to struggle. And of course, guys, to reinforce that point, we don't really need any more reminders, do we? Last season, we went to San Mamés twice, one in the Copa del Rey, once in La Liga. And we lost both games, guys, 1-0, and both times the goal was scored in the 93rd minute of the game. And that really sums up what sort of fixture this is. It's very hard to get goals in, even chances, certainly clear-cut ones at that. And even when we play well against this side, they do defend well, they do dig in, and they always seem to have a goal in them when it matters most. They do like playing Barcelona, especially at their home turf. So I think when we're compiling everything that we've learnt there about Athletic Club, this does pose a real threat to Barcelona. This should be an incredibly hard fixture. I think our rush training session at the end, I've got to see what sort of effect that has tomorrow. I'm already expecting some fatigue. We haven't got a lot of time in between games right now. The players don't look that fit right now. You think you saw that in the second half against Huesca also, and we're probably going to go with a similar team too, so fitness, that could also be an issue for sure. And then you look at the fact that Athletic have the new coach in Marcelino, who should give them a big boost in my opinion. You look at our record against Athletic Club, you look at, well, how difficult it can be to watch these sorts of games at San Mamés. Will we overcome all this adversity? Will we make a statement win? That's what we're all hoping for. So let's move on to ourselves then, bearing all of that in mind there, which may seem a bit negative and maybe a bit doom and gloom. But look, this is what I'm going to say about Barcelona. It is going to be a hard game for us. It's plain and simple. If Barca want 3 points, we've got to vastly improve from the performance against Huesca, in my opinion. And what I mean by improve is our general play. And when I say general play, I want to see some changes from Barcelona. Because despite the fact that I don't think we are actually going to be changing our starting 11 overly from the Huesca game, I do expect similar sorts of players up there. What we need to see from Barcelona is a quick and sharp performance. We saw it in the opening, let's say 30, 40 minutes against Huesca. We were sharp in that game. We were creating opportunities, even when Huesca had about 8 players lined up in their penalty area. Barcelona was still carving out opportunities, and we've got to see that against Athletic Club nearly for 90 minutes, guys, because they will be even better than Huesca. They also pose far more of a threat going down the other way. So Barca, we've got to lift our levels. The chance creation, it has to be top notch. I always speak about chance creation in these sorts of fixtures and almost in every Barca game, because we have to make sure we're creating enough chances on a regular basis, testing Unai Simon in goal, getting shots away, getting in behind their defence, and really putting the pressure on. And I also want to speak about our work without the ball, because I think it's something that maybe isn't spoken about that much from Barcelona's point of view, but I just feel when I see us without the ball, we can be a bit lazy, a little bit off the pace, a little bit sloppy, not closing our crosses, giving away silly set pieces. All of this stuff that I'm mentioning here that we saw in that second half against Huesca, and honestly guys, that we've seen for the last 2 years, let's be honest with ourselves and get to the chase. Barcelona have struggled over the last 2 years in this sort of fixture. We've got to get rid of those things out of our performances if we want to challenge for titles, if we really want to go forward and put in a good performance in these sorts of games. You know, we want to be able to go to San Mamés and really run over them, get some goals, have a clean sheet back there, really take the games to Athletic Club. But if Barcelona don't improve certain things in their games that are absolute imperatives and essentials for winning football matches, we are going to struggle. And just touching briefly on that point also, we need to see a 90-minute performance from Barcelona, which I'm not sure how many I've actually seen of those over the last 2 years. Barcelona have often been good in little stages of games. The game against Huesca is a good example of that. Like I said, first 30 minutes were really bright. We actually got at their defence, but the second half, guys, it was tough to watch. I think we all agree on that. We were certainly happy with the vital 3 points, but for Barcelona against Athletic Club here, and in future matches we've got coming up, we've got Granada on the Saturday, then you've got the Supercopa coming up against Real Sociedad, and probably Real Madrid in the final if we are to get past La Real. Look, we've got hard games coming up, we've got to raise our level. Maybe rotation comes into that. We'll get on to a minute what I think Koeman is going to go for lineup-wise, but I think we can all agree, and let me know what you guys think down below. Barcelona have to improve our performance in a lot of different categories. So moving on to team selection, this is what I've gone for. This is going to be my predicted 11 for what I think we're going to be seeing tomorrow evening at San Mamés. I've gone for Marc-André ter Stegen in goal. Of course, he will be there, the number one. He's looked good of late. We'll maybe need him to make some big saves. He usually steps up against Athletic, so hopefully he'll have a good performance. In defence, I would leave it unchanged. I imagine Ronald Koeman will do also, despite the fact it's a short turnaround. We haven't had many training sessions, like I mentioned a few times before the game. I think Dest has to start a right back, Alba has to start a left back, and then you've got Araujo and Longley, who I just can't really see him changing. Titi doesn't seem like an option, and whether he'll bring Mingueza for this game, look, he's done it for big games before. Look at the Sociedad one, for example, at the Camp Nou back in mid-December, but I'm not sure. I think Araujo and Longley is what we'll go for. In midfield, I've gone for the safe double pivot, if you like, of Busquets and De Jong. Whether that will actually be the case is another matter. I wouldn't overly be surprised to see someone like Miralem Pjanic get a start here ahead of Busquets, but you'd imagine De Jong will start. He's been in great form of late, but let's see what Koeman does with that. And then onto the front four, guys, or however you see it. It can sometimes be a 4-3-3 for Barca, with Pedri and De Jong as interiors, or it can be a 4-2-3-1. Whenever I'm watching Koeman's Barca, I always seem to see it as a 4-2-3-1 more than anything. I do think that. But if we're looking at personnel-wise, this is what I think will happen. Same lineup as Huesca. I just think that Griezmann is going to come in ahead of Martin Braithwaite. I cannot see the Frenchman being benched 2 times in a row, especially with the games in this quick succession, guys. But away to Athletic Club, it's a big fixture. I think Griezmann will start up front. Whether that's the good thing or not, we'll have to wait and see. Braithwaite can certainly occupy centre-backs. Griezmann doesn't really fit that number 9 role to perfection for me. And neither does Messi out on the right-hand side, if we're being honest with ourselves. He certainly comes inside, and we have little width down that right. But look, we've got to see if it works. In terms of front four, that's probably the best Barca have got right now. Maybe Braithwaite could go in there somewhere, but let's see what Koeman goes for. Also, guys, let me know down below, what would you do in the final third? So quickly wrapping up the match preview with my match prediction. I've gone for Athletic Club 1, Barcelona 2. I want to try and stay positive. I would not be surprised one bit to see a draw here, a 1-1 or a 0-0, or even a narrow Athletic Club victory. And I think we can all agree on that. It can be a difficult game going here, but I want to stay positive. We've just got a 1-0 away victory. Let's see if we can get 2 wins on the trot for what would be a statement victory. Make no mistake about that. Coming here, if Barca pick up 3 points, it would be a big statement in my opinion. I'm expecting a valiant Marcelino. I'm expecting a valiant Athletic club. I'm expecting a hard game like I always am, like I've reiterated right throughout the video. But that is where I'm going to wrap up, guys. Please leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Like I always say, leave your comments down below. I like getting in discussions with you guys down there about Barcelona. Until then, I'll see you guys very, very soon. And of course, make sure you guys are coming here after full time, hopefully for some positive news in the match review of the game. Until then, enjoy yourselves and goodbye.